These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? We're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
Having the time of your life. Ooh, see that girl. Watch that scene. Dig in the dancing queen.
Two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome to episode 115 of America's Barley Basket. My name is Nathan Folsebuck. Sitting next to me virtually is Marlon Wells.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlon.
How are you, bud?
I'm okay. I'm
doing all right?
Yeah, you know, we're professionals, so we can't have any fans on us. So I'm going to get progressively sweatier as this goes on.
Ooh.
So I don't know if that's going to add or detract. That'll be for the listeners to decide.
Yeah, you decide. I feel like we should check in every 40 minutes.
How damp do you like your podcast hosts? You want dry boys or moist boys?
Yeah, you, like, every so often think, how am I enjoying the show? And then at the end, we will give you Nathan's sweat numbers to let him know how sweaty he was at each interval. And you will learn about yourself. Like, it turns out I like a damp Nathan. Or, it turns out I like a dry Nathan.
I'll put like one of those like pH testing strips on my inner thigh. And like I'll pull it out.
Watch it dissolve.
Yeah, just watch it turn to black ash.
Ooh, that can't be good.
That thing got Thanos. You drink more water, buddy.
Oh, boy. How are you? You think you drink enough water? You think you drink what you should?
Oh, I mean, I'm a very large man, so I'm probably supposed to drink like 400 ounces a day, but I think I'm pretty good. I'm anywhere in the 60 to 90, I'd even say 80 to 100 ounces of water a day.
You're supposed to drink half your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should drink 100 ounces. Do you get that math?
Oof, so I'm supposed to drink.
I'm getting a real blank look right
375 ounces of water a day? I don't know if that's feasible.
I don't know if that's physically possible.
Yeah, so on that scale, I'm probably a little low, but I think I do pretty good.
You think you're doing all right? Okay.
Yeah.
I usually, most days, hit my number. I'm pretty cognizant of staying hydrated as you take a pull from your water bottle right now, like you're trying to fucking compensate for it.
God, delicious. Can't get enough of this stuff.
Literally, physically can't get enough of it. I hit that mark more days than not, but it's not without fucking trying. I'm constantly like, where's my fucking water bottle? I gotta have it. All I do is piss. I'm a pissing boy all the time. I'm like a goddamn fountain cherub over here.
So you got to quit following fucking society's rules and peeing in the toilet all the time and just get like 8 to 12 coffee cans around your apartment. So do you remove the lid or do you cut like a pee-pee slice in the middle of it? You just ramrod it through.
Pee-pee slice is a horrible fucking, that is the worst Sunkiss flavor. I don't have an answer for you. There's no good way to do it. Like, there's no good way to institute your method. So,
I mean, I bet the first couple weeks are rough, but once you battle harden your dong, I bet using the pee-pee slice saves you a lot of time, cuts down on spillage. I'm sure there's a lot of nice positives about the pee-pee
might
slice.
Literally cut you.
Yeah. You had to file it down or something.
I get some light grain sandpaper, some polishing paper.
Explaining this project to the guy at your local Ace Hardware. So I was taking my 11th piss of the day, and I was like, "There's gotta be a better way."
So listen, I got a system of 11 cans throughout my apartment. And boy, they sure do bite into you sometimes. So I need some of this paper, a light grain sandpaper.
Oh, fucking rolled around in bed with 3 of those cans. Picking each one up and shaking it to find one that's got some room.
Like, I can't live this life you're talking about for a lot of reasons, but like one of them right up there at the top. I got a cat. Cats knock shit over all the time.
Yeah, you might have to go with the lids.
That's like their whole thing is knocking shit over.
No, kitty, that's Daddy's pee-pee jar.
Go on, get out of here.
You're covering your pee-pee jars in coyote fucking musk to keep the cat afraid of them.
Got a spritz bottle to keep every time I see her going for it. Hey, no, you get out of here.
So now you got coyotes outside your apartment pond to get in.
You see, now we have followed this slippery slope of yours to its logical, horrifying conclusion. I'm just going to keep using the toilet, I think.
How would you like to be a property manager? And there's a one apartment that's always got a ton of coyotes outside of it. And the man that lives there calmly explains why. See, my cat likes to get into things. He's a little rascal. So what I did was...
That's what you do is you really bury that lead. Like, You know how cats are always knocking stuff over? Yeah, I was dealing with that. So I got these pee jars. And the cat's always trying to, you know how cats are. I'm sorry, what? Back that up.
You don't want to. You just, the jars you pee in around the house.
Explaining it like it's normal.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Now I'm sweaty just thinking about that.
And then the cans are handed down through the family lines. You take the Holly Dunn song Daddy's Hands and replace it with Daddy's Cans. They're full of rust from all the pissing. Daddy's Cans.
You just see the evolution of the Folgers logo through the years.
There's like one that in Norwegian from your great-great-grandpa.
This one came out on the covered wagons.
There weren't even bathrooms. Why were you pissing in cans?
Can't stop the wagon. Too many coyotes.
Yeah.
Probably from all the piss cans. It's just this circular problem we've never been able to solve.
Back then, you had to milk the coyote's glands by hand.
Coyote's glands.
There was always musk in coyote's glands.
Oh shit! What a specific reference
You're
that you're hoping everyone gets.
I didn't think that was a hit song.
I don't think so.
I mean, it was a single, but Holly Dunn wasn't top of the charts.
No, not a household name.
She had a very problematic song called "When I Say No, I Mean Maybe, and When I Say Maybe, I Mean Yes."
Oh boy!
Yeah.
Oh boy!
Holly, what are you doing?
That's what rich polo wearing sex criminals shout.
Ted Bundy's in jail. I knew it.
Damn it, Holly Dunn. Whew.
This is a lot of Holly Dunn references when we're 10 minutes in.
Yeah. Now I know whose face I'm going to use for the promo image for this episode.
Oh, good call. Sometimes it writes itself.
Sometimes. Oh boy, off to a hell of a start. We're talking Simpsons eventually.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I forget.
We're doing episodes 15 to 19 of season 26. Fucking cooking through 26.
Yeah, we sure
I feel
are.
like we just started it, but we're fucking creeping up on it.
I don't want to give any too hot a takes out. I don't like to give spoilers, but I'll tell you right now, far better batch this 5.
I agree. As somebody who was even lower on last week's than you were, where this is a step up for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Let's start it off with episode 15, The Princess Guide. I think I've mentioned it before. I've never seen that movie. I've never seen Princess Bride.
I don't know if I've ever seen it all the way through, and I'm the right age, too. Like, that was a thing when I was, like, 9, so yeah.
Yeah, to me, Cary Elwes, or however you say his name, is Robin Hood Man in Tights.
Yeah, or for me, he's the guy in The Crush, a very early Alicia Silverstone movie.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Made my pants feel a certain way when I was like 13.
Yeah, you like Cary Elwes as a young man, didn't you? Yeah.
He's dashing.
To be fair, he is dashing.
Yeah.
Unlike some Robin Hoods, I can speak with an English accent.
Who was the dude that played Robin Hood within the last decade? They made him. I think Ridley Scott put out a Robin Hood.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Oh, you ever see that?
No. I think Jamie Foxx played Robin Hood fairly recently, too.
No shit, really?
I could be wrong on that. Maybe he didn't play Robin Hood, but he was definitely in a Robin Hood movie.
Yeah, okay. And then it was Costner with like 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
Yeah, Costner was Prince of Thieves. That's who they're making fun of with that English accent joke. Yeah. There's got to be some fucking rule that every so often you have to make a Robin Hood movie.
Or the planet will collapse.
Yeah, like that's what keeps some ticking clock at bay.
That's what keeps the sun from exploding.
Yeah, is a new Robin Hood movie.
On the subject of Men in Tights, that's one of maybe 2 Mel Brooks movies I've seen all the way through.
Really?
Yeah. I've
just
seen
never
that.
Never
Spaceballs.
got around to it?
They just never do a whole lot for me.
Yeah. I like them, but I don't love any of them. Like, gun to the head, like, depending on the day, I might tell you that Men in Tights is my favorite. But, I mean, it's a constant fist fight in my brain between that and Blazing Saddles.
Okay, Spaceballs for me, but a lot of that's nostalgic. Like, that was by far the first one I saw.
And, like, I like Star Wars, but I don't love Spaceballs. Spaceballs is just very silly.
Very silly, yeah. Combing the desert.
Yeah. See,
jamming
but like that's
the radar.
Those are jokes in that movie that I like, or like them watching Spaceballs in Spaceballs to see themselves on the screen. Like, those are all jokes I really love. It's when we get into like fucking Pizza the Hut and fucking Mel Brooks Yoda that I'm like, okay, we're done here.
I love when Lord Helmet's like second or first in command or second in command walks in and I'm playing with his action figures. He's like, I didn't see you playing with your doll, sir.
Yeah.
So there's no need to go into detail. Like, that's not going to help your case.
One of my favorite jokes in Men in Tights is right at the beginning because it's all shot so dramatically of the village burning down and everything. And then just, oh, God, every time they make a new Robin Hood movie, they burn our village down. And then it fades in, directed by Mel Brooks. And then, leave us alone, Mel Brooks. That's such a good joke.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So yes, never seen The Princess Bride. Yeah. Cary Elwes is Robin Hood to me. After that, he's guy chained to the wall in Saw 1.
Saw, yeah.
Manny Patinkin, or however you say his name, is the guy from Dead Like Me. I never get the Princess Bride is never my point of reference for any of these people.
I think Mandy Patinkin had I think he was one of the stars of CBS's attempt to try to go nose to nose with NBC's ER. Was it Chicago Hope?
Okay.
I think he was one of the...
That's a real show. I've never seen it, but I know it's real.
Yeah, pretty sure that was a Mandy Patinkin joint.
And then he was in some cop show, right? Like some procedural
CBS
Law
procedural
and Order type.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think you're onto something there.
I feel like I can see the DVD cover for season 4 or something. Yeah. Something I saw in a used DVD store, because who doesn't sell that as soon as they need to pay bills?
Yeah. NCIS Oshkosh. ran 11 seasons.
Yeah, without us knowing. Paid for 3 houses for one of the lesser known Dillon brothers.
Yeah. Petey
Dillon.
Didn't even know that existed.
So it's take your daughter to work day at the power plant. There's a moment at the kitchen table where Bart's like, why is there ever a take your son to work day? And Homer's just like, well, because as a guy, you got all the advantage already. And they're like high-fiving and shit right in front of Lisa. I thought that was fun.
And like how quickly Bart wisens up. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. You know, like,
yeah.
I
do have
his
it
mood
easy.
around. Yeah.
What am I talking about? Thanks, Dad. It's very funny. So they're doing dad and daughter stuff around the power plant. We go to Mr. Burns' office. In a rare instance of continuity, Burns is at the edge of bankruptcy because of the Elon Musk incident.
Good call.
I was like, look at you guys. Okay, that's pretty cool. But don't worry, Burns has a plan. He's going to buy yellow cake uranium from a Nigerian king and then use it to make power and be back on top again. So that's his plan. And as soon as I heard Nigerian king, I was like, I know 80% of the jokes we're going to make in this.
And you were not disappointed.
That specific internet scam has done more damage to the nation of Nigeria.
To the good people of Nigeria.
Because you cannot hear the word Nigerian without being like, oh, like the thing?
Like the prince who needs the money?
Yeah. Sucks.
Yep. I hope that's a huge part of their economy.
Is
like petroleum, diamonds, scamming dipshits and old people.
I suspect that they weren't the ones scamming dipshits and old people.
Yeah. Well, whoever it was, they didn't have a good grasp of the English language, because I got a few of those emails.
Yeah. I mean, I know a shit ton of Americans who don't have a grasp of the English language. Homer has like a good dad moment in the cafeteria, which is nice, where he pulls a bunch of strings to get Lisa a salad and like really goes all out with it. I was like, look at this. Look at good dad Homer. So they catch this on the security monitors, and Homer is given the task of babysitting the Nigerian princess while the king and Burns are doing their dealings, because she's like 25, needs somebody they think to like watch over her so she's not causing trouble while they're over there. And she's played by I'm gonna butcher her name, Yaya DaCosta, I think is her name.
What would we know her from?
I don't think I've seen anything that she's been in, but I know that like she played Whitney Houston in a biopic. She's been in Chicago Med and Ugly Betty. Ugly Betty is maybe her biggest claim to fame.
Okay.
I looked her up earlier. She doesn't look familiar. I don't know that I've seen her in anything. But I assumed like, oh, she's probably somebody if she's in this episode, because it's a prominent role.
Yeah, totally.
So Homer's going to be her babysitter, and she wants to go out, of course. He's trying to keep her in the hotel room watching television, but she wants to go out because she's 25 and in America for the first time. Why wouldn't she? So Homer takes her to the most happening place he knows, which is Moe's Tavern. And Moe, as soon as he hears that she's Nigerian, is immediately all full of piss and vinegar because he fell victim to the Nigerian prince email scam.
When it cuts to him in a laundromat in his tighty whities using their Wi-Fi as he's getting scammed, that's such a good joke.
Yep. Just oof. That was a real look into Moe's life.
Yep. You walk into that laundromat and you're like, you know what? I don't need clean clothes that bad. I'll wear these clothes a couple more days.
You see Moe at the computer and is like, no one does that, right? No one strips down to their skivvies to do laundry.
God,
right?
I bet one would be shocked.
You've got a laundry doing outfit for sure.
You would hope.
Like, oh, when nothing else is clean, I wear this pair of basketball shorts and this cut-off hoodie.
Every once in a while something happens where you wear that outfit for 4 days in a row. Now you're Mo.
Oh, boy. Maybe I'm closer to Mo than I think, and I shouldn't quite judge the fella. I went clothes shopping earlier today and was like, I'm not going to pay $27 for something that I'm going to cut the sleeves off of.
I hope you said that out loud looking at it like.
Said that out loud to no one in a JCPenney not 5 hours ago. I was like, I like this denim shirt, but I'm not going to pay this much for it. So Mo all fired up about this. He doesn't trust her at all, of course, because I think he's like, I got to get to the bottom of this. Do you got a brother? And she's like, of course. And he's like, you get the inner monologue of Mo being like, okay, Mo, take it easy. Lots of people got brothers.
Yeah.
And then he's like, does he have a computer? And she's like, yeah, of course. He's like, that's him, the son of a bitch. So good. I love a Mo heavy episode, so I'm pretty into this. So Homer, in the meantime, has like walked out to go try and find her. I forget why she's not there right away. She steps out for something, so Homer goes to find her, and then she comes back and is talking with Mo. But while Homer's outside, he's talking to Wiggum like, I'm looking for this Nigerian princess. So he immediately throws him in his car because he assumes he's wasted.
Yeah.
And then Gil comes running like, oh my gosh, you got to help somebody just robbed the Quickie Mart. And he's like, sure they did. Get in. And throws Gil in the back. And then Apu comes up holding his bleeding shoulder like, Wiggum, I've been shot and robbed. He's like, okay, drunkie. And puts him in the car too. That's fun.
We get some real piss poor Wiggum being a cop in this batch of episodes.
This is a heavy Wiggum batch for sure.
Not a complaint.
Nope, not at all. So I like that she wants to eat something and she reaches for the egg jar and Mo is like, no, don't eat those eggs. We don't know what kind of birds they turn into. Jesus. And then tells her, I think there's a string cheese in the fridge in the back. And I like the idea of Mo's dilapidated back room where he sleeps having a string cheese in it.
Not a package of string cheese, a string cheese.
A loose string cheese. Yeah. You a string cheese boy? I can see you being a string cheese boy.
I'll fuck up some string cheese.
Are you peeling it like a child or just munching it like an adult?
I can go either way.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to make it last, maybe I'll peel it. Do a little nibbling, some light nibbling.
Light nibbling. I just bite it. I don't got the time. I do have the time, but I have chosen to spend it doing something else.
You know how one should do it is you take two of them. One, you line your cheek and gum on the bottom row of teeth, and one you shove up above your bottom lip and just go out in public like that.
With just like two lips full of cheese chaw. That's how you want to live.
You really got to keep your lips pursed so the cheese is never exposed. It's like,
you're going to lose that cheese if you get to yapping too much.
Are you hitting the face with an oar? No, I'm enjoying some mozzarella.
No, I'm just having some cheese, you know.
Do you eat it differently?
God, just stinking by the end of the night. Wandered around for 5 hours drinking beer with fucking cheese mouth over here.
Your saliva slowly breaking it down.
You're drooling, just Is that Always Sunny, that date where he goes on and they're like, oh God, did you eat cheese? And he had ate a brick of cheese before the date. Cheese will fuck up a breath real bad.
Yeah.
So the Homer and those other two are taken to the drunk tank. So that leaves the princess with Mo, and they're hanging out, chit-chatting. She goes back for the string cheese and then just crashes there, just sleeps. She takes Mo's cot that he has in the back, so he rips the felt off of his pool table and sleeps on the bar.
And he's real happy. Real happy, Mo.
Yeah, Mo's like, a lady who's nice to me. Here we go. Smithers is loving how badly this is going. We keep checking in on Smithers' fantasy of, like, earlier in the episode, it was like, oh, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if this all goes badly, you and I'll just, like, escape to Southeast Asia and live there in exile.
Like, flee their debts, yeah.
Yeah, so Smithers keeps fantasizing about this Southeast Asian paradise where he and Burns are going to live a loving life together as a couple. So Smithers not putting a stop to any of this that he all knows is going on because this is serving his needs. We get a long montage of Mo and the princess hanging out, just like, like an all-day date kind of thing. My favorite is that they just sit for a while and watch the Springfield tire fire. Yeah. And I like that that's what people do with the tire fire. You just watch it like it's a meteor shower. Yeah. Just like, you'll sit by the tire fire.
Relaxing.
Yeah. This is about when Homer comes to get her, because Homer is on to, the fact that she's hanging out with Mo now, and he's got his babysitting job to do, so he comes to take her away. She gives Mo a quick peck on the forehead, and a paparazzi takes a photo, and now everyone's freaking out of, oh my god, this Nigerian princess kissing this troll. Like, who's this fucking guy? But her dad hasn't found out yet, but Smithers just shows him on his phone, just like, look at this, because Smithers now actively trying to torpedo this so he can grow old with Mr. Burns. And the deal is off. The king is all pissed. And then, so we got in Burns's office now, Burns and Smithers and the king and the princess and Homer and the rest of Homer's family, for some reason, also there. And Homer gives him a good long dad talk about, like, not, like, strangling your daughter with, rules and stuff, and you got to let her do her own thing and be her own person. And he eventually kind of warms up to that, like, oh, yeah, okay. And she breaks the news to Mo that they are not going to be romantic at all, but they are just friends. That was a friendly forehead peck.
Yeah. I think it's at this point we see that Mo can move his ears like an elf.
Yeah, it's like Dopey from Snow White.
Yeah, like
that's
a dwarf.
The reference they use. Yep.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be friends and they're gonna be fine. And she takes off, and that's the end of the episode.
There's a rough line at the end because Smithers is dejected that things are gonna work out for Burns and they're gonna have the deal's gonna go through fine. It's just him getting drunk at Mo's, and Mo just goes, well, I guess you'll pine for a man that doesn't care while I'll just grow old in this bar. Like, Jesus, Mo. I mean, on point. Like, but my God, that is depressing.
Still a hell of a thing to say out loud, Mo. God damn.
I did like a couple Burns things. We get a good feeble Burns early on when, for some reason, a teacup is set on his head. And, like, the weight of it is, like, compressing him into the ground.
No, it's a poodle because he talks about he's at the edge of bankruptcy, so he's had to replace the hounds with poodles.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like a little teacup dog. That's what I meant. Yeah. Like, and then also the goddamn business negotiations where he's offering him, like, 2 goats for all that uranium.
And the guy is, like, mad. Like, stop offering me goats.
What do they agree to? Is it 10
Eventually
million
they
goats?
agree to 2 million goats.
That would really alter worldwide goat owning. Like, that's a huge goat transaction.
Yeah, there can't be that many on the planet. There's got to be, what, tops 20 million goats on the planet?
Yeah.
That's like a tenth of the goats.
Going to one man.
You got a tenth of the goat market.
It's a goat monopoly if I've ever seen one.
You ever eat goat or just goat cheese?
Nope, I've had plenty of goat, like in a lot of African food.
I don't know that I've ever had goat.
It's usually kind of chopped up like stew meat, and often there's like a big bone in it. So you just I'll always just pick it out with my hand and nibble off the meat from the bone. Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind goat.
I like most goat cheeses I've had, so I'm sure goat's just fine.
Yeah, time to go to your local butcher. Ask
Yo,
for
give
half
me a
goat.
goat. That's how you enter the store. Yo, give me a goat. I bet my butcher could find me a goat. I bet if I asked, I'm there enough, they'd probably be like, you know what? For you, we'll get you a goat.
I'll make a call.
I got a goat guy.
Yeah. Hey, Randy, still in the goat game? Listen.
You know it. What do you need?
Got a friend that's jonesing for goat meat.
You looking for flesh or juice? Flesh this time, Randy. Give me the goat.
A fine episode.
Yeah, I'm good with a Mo one. Like,
Yeah.
all that fucking Nigerian email shit was like, okay, like, I get it.
Yep,
Even
it
at
was-
this time, though, it's like 2016, guys. What are you doing?
It did lead to that good laundromat scene, which I appreciated.
Yeah, yes, that was good.
Let's see what episode 16 holds for us. Episode is titled Sky Police. We don't get a pun or a play on words. We just get Sky Police.
No, you just get a title that is like just tangential to the episode. It's such
Very
a weird
much so.
thing.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Good point. Yeah. Episode begins with Wiggum avoiding doing some real police work. I think there's like a active sniper. Does that sound right?
Yeah, there's a fucking sniper, and the other cops come in and grab their gear like, Chief, we gotta go.
Yeah, and he thinks, he's getting a dust ruffle delivered. He doesn't want to not be there, so he gets sent back to the factory.
Unbelievable.
He's the sheriff. He's in charge, chief of police. And while he's waiting for his package, a package is delivered, but it's a goddamn jetpack. Delivered. Is it the name? I think it's Clancy Wiggins instead of Clancy Wiggum. But he sees jetpack. His heart falls for it. So he's signing for it. So then we get fucking Wiggum in that goddamn jetpack, and he becomes Sky Police. We get this insane song of him fighting crime very poorly. He does not have a grasp of how to fly that thing very well. Did you notice when he's crashing into shit and he knocks a hole into the wall of the jail, that fucking Sammy Hagar crawls out?
Yep. He's one of the prisoners that escapes.
That was a nice touch. I got a kick out of that.
I loved all this Sky Police shit.
Yeah. And he's really having a good time, real proud of himself, until the real Clancy Wiggins, who's like a brigadier general, shows up.
Yep.
He's like, I got a dust ruffle. Like, I believe my jetpack was delivered here. And Wiggins is attached to it as he's having this conversation. He's somehow at like an office chair while sitting with a jetpack. And he's like, okay, well, I'll see what I can do. And he realizes he's fucked. So he just takes off through the goddamn ceiling of the fucking, of the cop station. And fucking Wiggins' fucking men open fire on fucking poor Clancy's getting shot at. And he somehow was able to save himself by bailing, but the jetpack flails around aimlessly and avoids the jetpack recycling pile and crashes into the roof of the church.
What an insane setup for the episode.
Yep. They need a fire at the church. That's what they need.
Yep.
Yeah, they find a very good way of getting that goddamn Sky Police song sung in the Ralph Wiggum voice is so good.
Like, just all we needed was, how do we get the church burnt down?
Yeah.
That's because that's where the episode goes, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
But like, that's how we got there, is this extremely long segment.
Unbelievable.
Like, it's like up to the first commercial break is Chief Wiggum's Sky Police.
Yeah. And the church isn't like ashes, but it's fucked. Like the roof has holes in it from the fire, and it needs a ton of work. I think it begins with like some of like the regular parishioners. It's like Lovejoy, his wife, Marge, Ned, and Sideshow Mel. Sideshow Mel is a part of this. Apparently he's a devout churchgoer.
I like that Sideshow Mel is part of the like inner workings of the church.
Yep, I
and
agree.
Mrs. Skinner.
Mrs. Skinner, there we go. Yep. And they're all like, well, what could we do? The insurance won't cover it. And Lovejoy drops this thing that land developers have been like kind of sniffing and wanting to knock down that church and make it a commercial spot. And like, he's like, this is probably going to be their opportunity to do so. And Marge gives them Marge and Lisa often play this role where they're the ones that give the rah we can't give up speech.
Yeah.
And I think right away they try to do like a fucking have a jar at the Quickie Mart, because we get Marge coming in and emptying it out. It's like cigarette butts and like a receipt or something like that.
And a sliced pickle chip. She's like, who keeps putting pickle chips in these?
That's good. I forgot about that. And while they're there, she's in the Quickie Mart. It's very quiet, and Apu is listening to this, and he kind of lets her know, like, well, hey, if you want to raise money, here's what you got to do. And Apu tells him about counting cards while playing blackjack. Holy shit, we got a blackjack episode. Finally, one that speaks to me.
Yeah, I got a 4-H one. You get a blackjack one. And not only, I thought this was incredibly good writing. Like Apu wants to help them rebuild the church, and she's like, but you're not, you don't even come to our church. He is so insistent on helping because he wants some place where people go and are told to not steal, because people have been robbing him more frequently now that the church is gone.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
That's such a good little reason for him to be helping.
It's a smart way of wrapping him into this.
Yeah, people need to be told not to steal so they'll stop robbing me. At which point the sea captain comes up and robs them.
Yeah.
And he says I'm in terrible moral decline and I'm on a lot of oxy. Yar. Jesus, sea captain. Sea captain's on hard times. It's got that dope sick.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe fish prices are down, or is he even? Yeah, he is a fisherman. I think we have seen him fishing before.
It's why we don't see him very often anymore, maybe.
Yeah, he's just hanging out in his boat, getting high.
Out in his garage, breaking his hand so he can get more pain pills.
Yeah. I assumed he lived on the boat, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, maybe I got it wrong.
He seems like a man that doesn't trust the land. He needs to be on the sea. And where did Apu, again, really Apu taking the bull by the horns and is going to teach them? Are they in the basement of the church, or where are they? Or maybe the basement of the Quickie Mart?
I think they're in a back room of the Quickie Mart because you see squishy boxes behind them.
Good call. Yep. And he's very intense, which I'm sure a lot of this is from the movie 21. And
I believe it is. I saw that movie back when it was fairly new, so it's been 20 fucking years, but a lot of this felt pretty familiar.
A lot of him being very stern and saying, you got to be able to always know the count no matter how many distractions you have. And he's throwing fake cocktail waitress cutouts at him, and there's smoke blowing all over the place. So he's really working him hard, like a real boot camp for blackjack counting. And fucking eventually he builds them up into a goddamn team of fucking, and you're right, you nailed the cast. Skinner's mom, Marge, the Lovejoys, Ned, and Sideshow Mel. And they're ready to go. He's worked them into a unit. They go into it's pretty I don't know how he would do, it goes without a hitch. There's not even a lot of joking, really. It's just them going to the casino, a couple little sight gags here or there. But pretty quickly, it's them making a killing. We get a music montage of someone giving a nod to someone, and Ned walks over with a ton of chips, and he's the one betting big and stuff. And they make a bunch of money the first night, and they're all excited about it. But the one thing I'm kind of forgetting here is that a seed has been planted of Marge not telling Homer what she's up to.
Yep.
And I think the lie is that they're putting on a review or something like that. Which there's a good gag of Homer having a lot of opinions. Oh, what a review! Who wouldn't want a review? You got to do this. I think later on he's like, I wrote a song for it.
Yeah, he's being such a good husband by taking such an interest in her things.
For a man that never gives a shit about church.
Yep, and it's the one time that she's lying to him.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I think they almost made enough money to fix the church, but they need to go one more night to be sure. And while they're prepping for that, Lisa and Bart are getting off the school bus and they're arguing who's going to tell mom about was it the oven or the freezer? Something happened. So all the teachers got to take home the extra tater tots and vanilla envelopes.
Yep.
Good
the
God.
The freezer broke down.
Yeah.
What a thing to fight about. Like, who gets to tell her about this?
So great.
This dumb thing that happened today.
And she's got to act like it's interesting. God, that's a mom's role right there.
Boy, I bet that is a parent's fucking struggle every day.
Yeah. Oh, look what I made. Terrific.
Not even what I made, but just kids excitedly telling you something inconsequential that happened during their day, and you having to pretend to be enthralled.
Losing their mind over this crazy bug they found, and it's a cricket. Just sitting on the patio. Oh, that's amazing, honey.
Yeah, it sure is. Like, how many times did I come fucking bounding off the school bus with shaking my backpack around and burst through the door to be like, Mom, I had a blue pencil and so did Shane. We both had blue pencils. Isn't that amazing? And for her to have to just stand there and be like, yeah, it sure is.
Pencils are nice. Not even looking at you, just looking off into the distance. Wish there was a bus that picked me up. As you're just cramming graham crackers into your mouth. What was that? Eat your graham crackers on.
She's not even looking out a window. She's staring at the wall.
Yeah, there's like a window 3 feet over, but she's just staring at the wall.
Sure wish a bus would take me away all day.
Shit. With this exciting tater tot news, Lisa and Bart overhear Marge on the phone talking about like their plan, because now they're going to wear costumes to help, so that the casino doesn't catch on to what's going on. The kids hear the news. They're, Marge spins some kind of tale like, "Oh, you kids are old enough that I can trust you with adult secrets." And what does because they're both, a little kid always wants to be told that they're older. And what does Lisa say to prove that she's an adult?
That I don't remember.
It's something more basic. And then Bart's like, "Yeah, I'm old. Me and my friend said I was going walks in the woods and talking about our feelings." It's like, good for Bart. So on the next night, the church group, clad in costumes, wins big yet again at the casino. They get back. Everything is all good until Marge finds out that the kids told Homer about Marge. God damn it, kids. And he went to the casino and is now being held by casino goons. I think they got worried because it was late at night and Homer was sitting on the couch drunk, and they told him, "You got to go find Mom. She's at the casino." And that's where they're at.
Because he relays this kind of after the fact, so this is kind of a flashback to earlier in the night of why Homer went to the casino, and he's like, "I was just having my after dinner nightcap," and it shows him on the couch drinking, if you count them all, his 7th beer. A nightcap.
Yeah, some of the cans are stacked on him. Man, you're in a bad state when you're lying on the couch and just letting the cans lay on top of you.
I don't think I've ever been there. I've always at least reached over and set them on the floor.
And one kind of recurring thing we get here is like I think Homer even asks too. It's like, why are you doing this? It's like, because your wife and her friend scammed us out of some money by counting cards. Well, is that illegal? Well, no, but it's frowned upon. Like, yeah, so that gets featured. And that's how they also trick Ned into doing it too,
because it's not illegal. Yeah.
So now it's like Marge is worried. She feels terrible about lying to Homer, even though he endlessly lies all the time. She goes to the Lovejoys, but the contractors have already begun building, and she asks the contractors for the money back, and that guy's laugh is so good.
He laughs for way too long.
Yeah, so she's not getting the money back, so she doesn't know what to do, so she drives right to the casino and just walks into the middle of the casino floor and starts praying. to the point it's causes a scene and everyone's watching, and some casino manager / accountant, perhaps voiced by Nathan Felder, I believe.
Fuck yeah, it is. Fielder, but yeah, it is.
And he comes out and tells her, like, you're like distracting people from playing. Like, we can't have that. So like they basically, hey, we'll release your dopey ass husband if you and your friends promise to never step foot in this casino again. And she totally agrees. Simpsons are back together. The church is getting rebuilt. All is right in the world. I don't know, man. For a blackjack episode, you'd think it'd be up my alley. It was just okay.
I thought the ending was a little tacked on, but other than that, I really like this episode quite a bit.
The Sky Police did a lot for it.
Sky Police does a lot, yes. And like I get what you mean. Like it's a blackjack episode, but there's not a lot of blackjack in it. Yeah. You know, most of the blackjack stuff is all montages with like designs laid over the top of them doing math and stuff, and that's all from that Kevin Spacey movie. So they were just going for that, I think.
So yeah, fine, but yeah, nothing super remarkable about it.
Couple of great jokes, though. I love that after they have gotten into their disguises, the Lovejoys love their disguises and won't take them off. They're like punk rockers. Yeah,
kind of goth / punk rockers, yeah.
When Marge shows up to their house and is like, quick, they got Homer, and he's like, and then stops and goes, why are you still in your costume? He's like, I don't know, we find it kind of liberating. And it shows Mrs. Lovejoy on the couch with her torn up fishnets going, is that a woman's voice? Send her in. And Marge throws up.
Yeah. Good for the Lovejoys. They need to cut loose every once in a while.
Yeah, good for them. A little shot in the arm. My other favorite joke of the episode was after they win big the first night at the casino, they all have some cocktails to celebrate, and Marge comes home fucking shammered and gets into bed and starts kissing on Homer. She's all drunk and he's confused, like, oh, what is happening? And she's like, come on, let's get something going here. And he goes, okay, but if I'm groggy at work tomorrow, I get to tell everybody why. Yeah. Like that's his condition. I thought that was very funny. Do you have, if you were to give out between 1 and 5 helpful beginners tips, what are Nathan's blackjack tips?
Tip number 1, don't start. Tip number 2, definitely don't start playing blackjack. Tip 3, if you're compelled to play, just read there's a million blackjack tutorials. And I think an important rule, number 5 on that list, if you're going to play, and the math says to split or double down, do it. Because I mean, sometimes some splits and double downs are no-brainers, some aren't. But if the math says to do it, do it. Because if you want to win in blackjack, you got to make your double downs and blackjacks pay off, or your double downs and your splits have to hit. So, I mean, that doesn't mean do it when the math says not to, but like sometimes, you're playing, you're on a bad streak. It's like, do I really want to double down this fucking 10 against a 9? Do it. The math says to do it, so do it. You're not going to turn it around. Scared money don't make money. There we go. Boy, I had that loaded up too quick.
I love that I asked you for I love that tips 1 and 2 were don't.
Yep.
Tip 3 was essentially ask somebody else, and then you went straight to tip 5, which was essentially do what you're told.
Yeah.
So if you were to write this down, 1, don't. 2, don't. 3, find a book about it. 5, do the math, and if it's right, then
you're right. I did jump right past 4.
Jesus Christ! Although
I think I got derailed because that popped into my head. I'm like, oh yeah, that's good advice.
At least you went somewhere with it, because when your first 2 were don't, I was like, boy, you know how to be fun on a podcast, buddy.
Oh no! You know what tip 4 is? Tip 4, tip. winning or losing, you tip the dealer.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if like they have no control over the cards, whether you win or lose. I mean, if you're winning, tip a little more, but even if you're losing, make sure you save a couple bucks to throw their way.
Spoken like a man who has dealt blackjack before.
Yep, dealt blackjack to a table full of assholes who are cleaning house and yet only tip their 50-cent pieces.
Yeah.
Don't be in the industry that's called the mustard farmer, because those yellow the 50-cent chips are yellow. Don't be. I mean, you tip those. Don't get me wrong, but you tip something else too.
Mustard farmer sounds like it's a more serious insult. Mustard farmer sounds like a slur that you can't say on television.
Actually, a mustard farmer is not someone that tips their yellows. It's someone who's so miserly that they play their yellows. They cultivate and they save them, and so that's why they're a mustard farmer, because they're saving their mustards.
Makes sense.
Oh, it's a repugnant way to be. Don't be that person if you. But yeah, but honestly, don't play. You're never going to win in the long run.
It's not about winning. It's about having fun, Nathan.
Oh, buy a go-kart with the money you save not playing blackjack.
Marlon's fun blackjack tips are always split 8s and always double down on 11. That's my fun tips.
Yep. That's an example of a split that's so, even for me, it's hard to do. I hate splitting 8s against like a 10 or an ace. It just seems like but like the math says you're supposed to, so goddamn it.
Always split 8s. Yep. Your rule number 5. Always follow the math, Nathan.
Yeah, which sometimes I got to really bite the bullet to do it. Like, because for me, logically, it's like, now instead of one shit hand, I have 2.
Nope, you're going to have 2 18s instead of 1 16. That's where you're at.
2 18s so that dealer can flip over a 20. I mean, and then granted,
nobody wants a 16, though. Fuck a 16. 16 is a bored hand job of a blackjack hand.
And then, I mean, when it comes to the math, like, with hands like splitting 8s against a face, it's still, the math ain't good. It's just fractions of a percentage better than just fucking hitting your 16. That's another thing, too. Fucking hit your 16s when you're up against a 7 or a higher. Again, fucking scared money don't make money. The math says don't sit on a 16. I know it sucks because you're going to probably lose, but you're probably going to lose if you sit, too. Oh, that's Jesus. We should make a top 10 list of fucking blackjack rules.
Now I see why your first 2 are don't play, because unlike the listeners, I can see the pain in your face right now.
It's like sometimes there's no good choice. Look around the casino, marvel at all the bright lights that's never shut off. Can you imagine what the electric bill is? Yet they never struggle to pay it.
Because people are sitting around not splitting their 8s.
Yep,
that's
right. Yeah. And they're sitting on 15s against a 10. What do you think's going to happen? Oh, now my blood pressure.
And Nathan's reaching for his blood pressure cuff and firing up the machine.
Yeah.
Episode 17 is Waiting for Duffman. I've also never read or seen Waiting for Superman, so.
Oh, I think that's Waiting for Guffman.
Oh, sure. Which I think is a riff on Waiting for Superman, right? Isn't that the thing?
I think Waiting for Guffman's it's a Christopher Guest, like one of his mockumentaries in the same vein as Spinal Tap or Best in Show.
Okay, what is Waiting for Superman then? Because I've heard that.
Oh, I'm not sure what that would be. Is that like a trade paperback or something?
I think that's a documentary about the public school system, maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I did not know that.
There's a decent chance I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Someone fact check this.
My chemicals are all out of balance. I had Arby's today, so I'm all fucked up over here.
There's fueled strictly on horsey sauce. I like it.
I'm all beef drunk. I had the meats.
Yeah, the meats had me.
We start off in some I don't know, bike parade or bike race. I wasn't really paying attention to start off the episode. I noted that I'm sure they're comfortable and help with your knees and back, but no one looks cool riding a recumbent bicycle.
Oh my God, no. Yeah.
Like, it's impossible.
As a fat guy, you got too much gut in the way. Tell you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's true about most things in life. Your gut's in the way doing pretty much anything. But a recumbent bicycle looks ridiculous. I like that Mel is like salty at people for riding two-wheeled bicycles when he has a unicycle.
No, he thinks it's ridiculous to have handlebars.
Right. That's right. And as he cooks by on a unicycle. I saw a man riding a unicycle not a week ago.
No shit.
Crossing the Main Street Bridge between Fargo and Moorhead, and he didn't look like some lunatic. He had like a normal haircut, wearing like a button down like business shirt with his sleeves rolled up, and slacks and regular common sense shoes, riding a unicycle over a bridge.
I don't like that. I don't like it infiltrating polite society.
Keep that one on the outskirts.
Yeah, for the freaks. The outcasts.
You with a shotgun on your back porch, not in my backyard.
You keep pedaling.
I have to, or I'll fall.
Yeah. There's no kickstand on these.
What do you do when you get where you're going then? Do you carry it around?
I bet a unicyclist can't stop talking about it.
Oh my God, yeah. People give like vegans shit for being that way, or CrossFitters, but I bet unicyclists are really insufferable about it.
I bet they have like custom backpacks that carry it on their back. Like,
oh God, a unicycle pack?
Yeah.
Ugh. Hang it off their belt like a revolver.
Yeah. We're coming off as real unsights, sort of. That'd be the proper term for people that are against the unicycle culture. But
I ride what you want, but I just think you look silly.
Yeah.
Like I should fucking talk about looking silly.
Yeah.
So while we're doing this bike parade, Duffman, who is on one of those pedal pubs, which I have seen out in the wild and always think, that looks ridiculous.
Yeah. I've never been drinking a beer, and like, you know what would make this better? Being on an exercise bike.
I've never wanted some cocktails and thought, I wish exertion would really add to this experience. Well, Duffman is on one of these things and breaks a hip by giving his hip thrust. Oh,
it's the lead up to it's great. There's it's the mayor and I'm guessing some other politicians and like a military man. And he's like, Duffman, how about a 21 thrust salute to our military? Duffman's response, my hips are proud to salute our endless wars. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I died.
So he breaks his hips, has I think Hibbert says double hip replacement, which is insane.
Right?
We see this news on the television while Marge is ironing her ironing board covers. God damn it, Marge.
Yeah.
Homer sees like, we're going to be doing Finding the Next Duffman, like competition television show.
So you think you can duff?
Yes, so you think you can duff. And Homer wants in on this, and Marge gives her blessing eventually, so we're doing this thing. And it's like, I don't know, it's like The Voice or whatever.
And just a little bit before this, we had a scene where we get a little Barney. Barney probably has 3 short lines of dialogue. I bet that's the most Barney we've gotten in 7 seasons.
Oh, easily. He's barely in this show anymore. Sad, really.
Right?
So we're doing this reality competition show. A lot of jokes here that I assume are for people who watch these kind of shows, which is not me at all. So,
do you think we're supposed to know who the woman is that's hosting it?
I have heard her name before, Kat Deely. I don't know who she is.
She's just like, she's like a Seacrest. She's a professional MC.
Yeah, she even makes the joke of like, my 2 favorite words, Seacrest past, you know? Yeah. So like, I assume she hosts shows like this. So a lot of jokes about them whittling down this group of contestants. Homer is down to the final 2, but he loses to this other guy, this nameless, faceless guy who they just call Contestant 12. They don't even say his name. But he, we find out, has an Ogdenville Ale tramp stamp on his back. So they immediately disqualify him, and so now Homer wins by default.
And they search Homer's body for tattoos, and he has some kind of Marge-themed tramp stamp that they don't show, but just one person reads aloud.
Yep, I think it's the host says, like, because as soon as they disqualify that guy and give Homer the victory, they go, quick, check him. And she goes, oh, nope, nothing about Ogdenville Ale, just one that says Marge Madness.
Yeah, Madness.
Which is so funny and kind of sweet and adorable. And it cuts to Marge in the audience, who just goes, oh, these reality shows don't give you much privacy. Yeah. Oh, that's adorable that Homer has a Marge Madness tramp stamp. And then for seemingly no reason, we get a real long Game of Thrones joke here where they do the intro with the music playing, and they swear Homer in as the new Duff Man in the castle. And at one point, he's like sitting on the Iron Throne, but it's made of Duff cans. And then I think they say something along the lines of, "That's how we're going to tell the foreign markets you got the job," or something. Real dumb.
Yep, very dumb.
Like, I like Game of Thrones, but that sequence goes on too long and exists for no reason. I forget the guy's name, but we get like the head of Duff.
It's like a family thing, like Coors. Like he's like fourth generation.
He's like HK Duff the 7th or something like that. So he's showing them around since Homer's going to be the new Duff Man. At one point, he shows them the safe that holds the secret recipe to Duff, and Maggie gets it open with no effort, and Bart reads the recipe card, and it's Schlitz plus water.
That's so good.
That's very funny.
And while they're going through like the Hall of Duff, there's they show like a 1960s animated commercial, which is basically just the Hams beer and even the Hams song. Instead of
is it?
Yep. Instead of like from the land of the sky blue waters, it's like made from Canadian rain. Even like it's sung the same. So that's a nice. That makes me think. Was Hams a big enough beer in the 60s that the whole country was like, those ads must have aired nationally?
Oh, I guess I've never thought about, maybe Hams is a regional thing. I've never thought, that never occurred to me that might be the case, I guess.
But it must have been big enough that those commercials went everywhere, because why the fuck else would they have that?
Big enough that they got referenced on The Simpsons.
Yep.
I didn't know Hams had a theme song, so I sat through that cartoon being like, this is dumb. What are we doing?
Yeah, no, that's totally from Hams, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Learning things.
Yay. We're big on education here.
We should never stop learning.
So without asking him or anything, they chip Homer. They put a fucking microchip in him. Not to track his movements, but to track his BAC, because as Duff Man, he can't drink anymore. He is not allowed to drink.
His response to that is so good. That heavy laughing, like.
Yeah, he's like real sarcastic, like ha ha ha, like real, like you really got me, but it goes on way too long. Like, that's funny. And then Marge is like, oh, let me try this. And she takes a big swig of beer and loves it. Marge is like, ooh, I get why you like this so much. And Homer licks the foam off of her lip and then immediately like has a spasm and falls down.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, that was the chip. And he's like, I told you can't be drinking beer. And Homer, like, real loud, really gets his chemicals up, is like, I wasn't drinking, I was licking my wife. It's like, Jesus. Okay.
He has a great line during this tour. He's like, you wouldn't tell Batman he couldn't eat bats.
That's so good. Back at the Simpson house, we got Homer walking around in his Duffman costume, and the garage is so full of Duff shit. And oh my God, this joke. The kids are running around in the yard shooting at each other with t-shirt cannons. And Marge is like, you got to be careful with those things. And Homer walks out and says, oh, come on. No one's ever been killed by a t-shirt cannon. Already, I was like, that's a very good joke. But then they go a step further. Lisa shoots a t-shirt into Ned's window. It breaks through his window and smashes the photo of Edna above his bed, and he just like looks at it and then stares into the camera.
It was a picture of Maude, because Maude died because of a t-shirt.
I got the name wrong. Yeah, his first wife.
Him just staring right into the camera was so good.
Like, I poo-poo them for being like, they can't leave well enough alone. They should have just did the first part of the joke, but this was worth it. I enjoyed that.
Totally, yeah.
Homer's super successful as the new Duff Man. They're selling beer all over the place. And he goes with Marge up in the Duff blimp for a romantic ride in a blimp, I guess. That's romantic. And he's looking out the telescope of the blimp and sees all the damage that Duff is doing. The hobos and the litter and all that. And he's like, I never thought that beer could be bad, I guess. Like, none of this has occurred to Homer before.
During his time as Duff Man, I think he's like addressing a crowd somewhere. We get fucking Burns as Fruit Bat again.
Yep, as Fruit Batman.
And what was Smithers' character? Was he Kid Sourpuss or something like that?
Yeah, I believe it's Kid Sourpuss.
He did not look like he enjoyed being in costume.
Yeah, he's like right at the front of their like press conference being like, how about a team up with Fruit Batman? It's like, Jesus, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So Homer vows to like undo the damage that he's done with all the beer he's been selling. And they're at like a NASCAR race, and he like is up on the pedestal like, isn't this the wildest party? And everybody's like, yeah. And then he informs them, okay, well, just so you know, I switched out all of the beer with non-alcoholic Duff. And, you know, you guys don't need beer to have fun. You just said you're having fun. And like, the rest of this episode falls off a fucking cliff in a race to the end. The fans are pissed that they have been drinking non-alcoholic beer. I guess be mad about that. Why not? And they come down onto the track. There's a long protracted joke of Homer like getting in a NASCAR and driving away from them, but he ends up right back where they are because it's an oval track.
Yeah.
And he's confused, and he does that like 4 times. Then he's like, oh, I know, I'll go in reverse. But now he's just doing the same thing, but in reverse. And they cut to Lisa, who's like having a crisis of like, oh God, how many times do we have to see our dad attacked by an angry mob before it starts to do real damage? And this psychiatrist sitting next to her like says something poignant to her, and then the camera just changes angles and she's talking to nobody. There's no one there.
Marge and Bart are staring at her concerned.
Yeah, Lisa's losing it.
Oh, I fucking died at that part.
Holy shit, that was so good. Yeah. And she's like, and then Lisa ends that scene by going, okay, we'll see you next week, doctor. Or what am I thinking? You'll be in Malibu next week. Like, oh boy.
Made a backstory.
Cracks in Lisa's foundation.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, unless I missed it, the CEO decides that getting Homer drunk is going to be the thing that solves all this. So he tells Homer that the chip isn't real, although we saw him get electrocuted by it earlier, but okay. Yeah. So he hands Homer a beer and demands he drinks it, and then it's it just cuts to later and Homer is hammered.
Trying to drink a beer that's clearly a costume that Bumblebee Man's wearing.
Yeah, it's a mascot costume that he's trying to drink beer out of, and Marge drags him off. I thought a real bad ending, real dumb. But then we finally, I think this has happened a couple of times, but it is pretty rare. We get a post-episode addendum scene that's worth a shit, where the CEO comes to this fake Starbucks and recruits Duffman to get his job back and makes him Duffman again.
Yeah, that was good. When he finally turns him and he's like, "Come on, girls, we're going back," and they're like, "Well, but we're managers now." He's like, "Duffman," or they learned the cash register quicker than Duffman. Oh yeah.
Yep. I like that his name, he's not Duffman, but his real name is Wally Huffman or something. It rhymes.
Yep, you're right. I forgot about that. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, but when he comes in and he's trying to pretend that he's not Duffman, he's like, "Come on, Barry, I know your voice," or "I know." And he's like, "Where are your travel mugs?" And he's like, "Over there," and he does the hip thrust towards the travel mugs. Come on, I know it's you. Yeah, that was fun.
I loved this episode.
Oh yeah? All in all, I was positive on it. It was better than average, but I didn't come away loving it. I think that scene in the Duff plant after he becomes Duffman is too long, and the Game of Thrones thing goes on too long, and I think the ending is dog shit. The Maud Flanders thing is very funny.
Poof. Yeah. That's prime era Simpsons caliber of writing. This is one of the few ones in the last 15, 18 odd seasons where the story was meh, but the jokes were great.
Yeah, it was a funny episode, but a lot of it I was just not here for. Like I said, a lot of that stuff I thought just went on too long. It's
once every 2 seasons now where there's an episode where I feel like this, where it's that story was take it or leave it, but I was laughing enough. I was like, holy fuck, I am engaged.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can keep the laugh train rolling with episode 18, Peeping Mom. I see what you did there, Simpsons.
Get it?
Yeah. Get it?
Probably don't Google that.
Yeah. What could that bring up? Nothing good.
Nothing good.
Somebody destroyed a part of a neighborhood with a bulldozer. We don't see it happening. We see the aftermath. And then it cuts to Wiggum with a handcuffed Bart. And Marge is out. She's out bebopping around. She's whose eyes we see it through. She sees the damage. And then we see, of course, the disappointment that Bart's involved in this. And she's very angry. Again, with the theme, we get some very shoddy Wiggum police work. He's like, don't really got nothing, but he was here, so this is why he's arrested.
Yeah, no evidence, no motive, no nothing.
Yeah, he rattles off, we don't have evidence, we don't have this, we don't have that, so that's why I'm going to hand him off into your custody. Bart is very adamant that he didn't do it, but Marge knows her son, and she thinks otherwise. Kind of in the B story, Lisa is just doing some yard stuff, looking at bugs with a magnifying glass. She has, I think it's an earwig, which, do they come here? They look gross. I hope they don't. And then a roly-poly, which I've seen a few roly-polies. I think, do we call a roly-poly a June bug? Christ, that's a boring road to go down.
No way. You're not going to take that offshoot here? Yeah. You're not going to follow it?
I just know we don't have because again, it's freezing here 9 months out of the year. The one upshot of that kills a lot of gross bugs. But
true.
a big June bug, if you're like on a 4-wheeler and you have a June bug, it's like getting punched by a weak man. Like June bug's got a little heft behind it.
I don't know that I've ever seen a June bug. I probably have, but I don't.
Maybe it was too dry in your neck of the woods for June bugs.
If we call it that instead of a roly-poly, we're fucking up, because roly-poly is fun. Always take the fun option.
Yeah. I bet they're different. I think roly-polies roll up into a ball. I don't know if June bugs can. June bugs are just a big, fat, grape-looking thing, like, which, again, we don't get much of that shit around here. So she's looking at that, and then she sees a bottle cap, and then she sees a drunk Barney. Again,
in their yard.
Yeah, more Barney, please. Because this was even a fun scene. Like,
yeah, because she's like naming these bugs. She names like 3 bugs, and then like bottle cap, beer bottle, Barney, and he sits up and goes, "Yay, I finally made it on a list."
Yeah. Why have they forsaken Barney?
Yeah, it's tragic.
And there's some kind of commotion next door, so Lisa takes a look over, and the goddamn Flanders has got themselves a cute little puppy.
Yep.
Named Baz, I believe.
Yep.
And just an adorable little thing, and Lisa's, of course, jazzed about this. And
probably got the boys a puppy. Those kids have lived through 2 moms now.
Jesus, I think
they should get a puppy.
Yeah. And we've discussed this before. I am thinking that Rod and Todd are probably ages 7 and 9, because I don't believe they're in Lisa or Bart's grade, but they're very close in age.
Well, I think they're homeschooled, aren't they?
Oh, no, at one time. No, you're right. They go to a private school.
That's what it is. That's why they're not in those grades.
Edna pulls them out at one point.
Yes.
And makes them go to public school.
But I also, just looking at them and the way they behave, I think they're supposed to be kind of in between Bart's and Lisa's age. Yeah. You know, like, so all 4 of those kids are all 4 years consecutive.
Yeah, because like the youngest of those seems young compared to everyone else.
Exactly.
But they're also fucking weirdos. So it's always always children or adults. God, you meet a weird enough dude, he could be 28, he could be 58. It's just tough to gauge sometimes. Like, Marge is just adamant that Bart had something to do with this, but Bart is selling it well that he didn't do all this because she's like, "What about the bulldozer?" Well, he's like, "What about it? I don't know. Mom, why don't you trust me?" And finally she does, and Bart gets this fucking self-satisfied look on his face. But goddamn it, Marge is finally actually going to not just let him take his word for it. She's like, "I'm going to watch you 24/7. And this is a big part of the episode, is just her tailing Bart. Like, they're at home, she's there. He's on the bus, she's there. At school, she's there.
Yeah.
And there's a fucking killer line when the bullies, because of course Bart knows you have your mom at school that you're going to catch shit for it. I think they're in the lunchroom, and it's like, Do you need your mom to cut your food for you? It's like, they're baby carrots. They don't need cutting. And then I think it's Jimbo's like, "I'm so lucky my mom's in Gainesboro, Florida." I think. I think when we get a glimpse of that, how sad these guys' lives are.
Yeah, none of them are good. Like his, Nelson's, they all have bad lives.
The only one we don't see much of is Dolph. His home life has been pretty quiet. What's Kearney's? Oh, it's that he's a single dad, apparently.
Yep, that's always the jokes about Kearney's life. And that all 3 of them love peaches and cream from that one episode.
Yeah, God, that's good too.
I'll always hold on to that.
So cut to the other story. Baz, the Flanders' new dog, of course, has an affinity for Homer, so they were hitting it off, and Homer's loving the dog, dog's loving him. And eventually, the dog will start just coming over, like just comes to the door, because it wants to have fun. Kind of in the middle, this seems really weird, because it's dealt with super quick. Lisa gets bummed out by how ignored she is, because Marge is obviously paying all of her attention towards Bart, trying to watch him slip up. And then Homer's paying attention to the dog. And Lisa's just like mumbling like, I'm a middle kid, I don't ever get anything, blah, 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 blah. And she like offers Santa's little helper, like, you want to come here, Jazz, or you want a bath? And he leans, and dogs don't like baths. That's how much that dog hates Jazz.
Yep. He comes back with a towel, and she's like, oh, you never choose Jazz.
They never choose Jazz. So she is in a mood. She's like doing this talk under her breath, vacuum. And then Marge just like notices it and gives Homer like a upstairs nod, and Homer's like, "Aw," and he goes up there, and Homer, fairly good parenting, just because Lisa's in bed facing away like frack 'em schmack 'em, and he just gets into bed with her talking in the same voice. It was a great back and forth. He's trying to appeal to me, blah 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 blah. But if I'm gonna keep this up, you better not offer ice cream. Homer immediately offers ice cream, and she can't refuse. And now they're best
and
buds
they like
again.
walk out hand in hand, like, yay,
ice cream.
I react the same way when offered ice cream.
Yeah,
so
tough to stay pissed
with
ice cream. Yeah.
Yeah, try eating ice cream and be mad. You can be sad eating ice cream. I do it fairly regularly, but mad? No way.
Yeah. And help me with this. Are they in Bart's room, or are they like in the treehouse when we first see Bart and Milhouse together?
Bart has snuck out to
Into the
go to
woods.
into the woods where Milhouse plays.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because he's just getting sick of all the pressure from Marge. And Marge bursts through the woods. And what does Homer or Bart say? Well, she's got that much hairspray, nothing can stop her, because all we see is her hair pushing trees down.
Yeah, knocking branches away and shit.
And she followed him by putting a roll of thread, and she just followed the thread.
Yep. There are so many amazing Kirk Van Houten dunks in this sequence. Because Milhouse, like before Marge gets there, Milhouse is like, want to play in my treehouse? And Bart's like, look around, you don't have a treehouse. Yeah, but my dad's gonna make me one. That's why he didn't give me a Christmas or birthday present last year.
And then what is it? Yeah.
And then he's like, you don't even have a tree to put it in. He's like, well, he's gonna plant it, but he has to like wait for something.
He's saving up to buy some apple seeds.
Yeah, that's what it is. Jesus.
So depressing.
And then maybe my favorite one, you mentioned that she followed him because she put a spool of thread in his pocket. She's like, she takes the thread and it's all unwound. And Milhouse excitedly is like, I'll wind that for you. I'm good at doing things so I can pretend there's not a fight happening.
Good God.
I love that Milhouse has developed this skill to do a dumb, menial little thing in order to drown out his parents fighting.
And then like,
oh boy.
Like they interrupt him somehow. He's like, guys, I'm trying to thread.
So good.
So Bart now has reached a point where he can't put up with this. So in the middle of the night, he escapes kind of in a ninja-esque way, like, and he jumps out of his window and he hits Homer, who's going to mow. So he's like, hey, I don't want any part of this. Like you don't mention me, I don't mention you.
Yep, so, you didn't see me. Yep, they just go their separate ways.
Marge, again, she's really not giving up. She jumps out in her ninja way, runs to the car, and there's a note. The car won't start. What does the note say?
It is easily my biggest laugh of the entire batch. She turns over the car a few times and it won't start. There is a post-it note on the dash of the car that says, through carburetor at skunk, H.
Yeah.
And carburetor is spelled so unfathomably wrong.
So she has to go to Lisa's.
Carburetor at skunk. Just so matter-of-factly.
How did he get home? How did he get it home? It's just sitting in the driveway.
Questions. It means that it had to have been sitting in the driveway when he threw it.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it's not a spur of the moment thing. Taking a carburetor off involves removing a few things. Like,
it's a process through carburetor and skunk.
yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
God. H. Yeah,
Just
took the time to write a note.
Just how casual, just like, oh, I should leave a note, is so funny to me.
So good. So undeterred, Marge goes and grabs Lisa's little bike and peels off after Bart. Meanwhile, Flanders decides that his new dog would be happier at The Simpsons. He just notices that the dog is always pining to go over there. And he meets Homer, and Homer's originally happy about this. Like, oh, because he likes the puppy. And then we get a lot of decent Homer in this batch.
Yeah.
Like, he pretty quickly realizes that, like, wait a second, this family's been through some shit. They need this dog far more than I does. So he refuses to take it. And he says a line like, your dog just thinks I'm another dog. Like,
yeah.
He doesn't need another dog. He needs a master. He needs an owner. He needs a family. Because like fucking Ned been full Flanders form. He's like, here you go. I will, of course, pay for all the shots. And
oh,
he's like,
my God,
Ned. Are we bringing this dog to India? Like, just foreign to the idea. I guarantee never any dog we ever owned did not have shots.
Fucking really? Our dogs always got shots. And cats.
We never. As a family, we've never been inside a veterinarian's office.
Oh my God. Yet had pets.
Yeah. But I guess maybe those pets had shots. We got them all second or third hand.
Oh boy.
In my hometown, there isn't a animal shelter. The animal shelter is my dad's shop. So we would get dogs because my dad was sick of having them jumping around when he's trying to work on something.
Well, Jesus. I guess I'll take it home.
Yeah, right. Totally. That was it. Like, I think one of the dogs was kind of planned. The other two were just frustration pet ownership. Like, if it's here, it's not bothering me at work.
Yeah, let it bother my family.
Yeah, right. But little kids like being bothered by dogs. Like,
yeah,
at least that part of it adds up. Like,
when Homer is deciding that he shouldn't take this dog, we get like in inner monologue Homer, and he says when he's deciding to give the dog back, he goes, Ned's gonna need something for when his boys run away.
Yeah, that's a good line too.
That's a great joke. Good laughs in this batch.
Yep. And
this episode in particular.
And I'm usually not a big fan of like montage, because that's the cutting back to the Marge Bart story. It's just Bart doing all these things on his skateboard to try avoid Marge, but Marge doggedly sticking to him. Like they're getting into canoes, they're getting into this, they're getting into that, and then finally they're on an island, and Marge is like, you know what? Fine, do whatever you want. I don't care anymore. Just you win. I'm not going to bother you anymore. And he just leaves. She leaves Bart on the island. Get home whenever. I don't care. And Bart's like excited. And then it's that clearly like nearly feral man running out. And he's like, finally a canoe. I can escape Leprosy Island. And then his arms fall off when he tries to start paddling.
Yeah,
like, that was
a fun one.
Yeah. So now we get Bart living like a king. He's bragging to Milhouse about staying up till 10:45. And then he's like showing him this diorama he's built about how he's going to knock the letters of the Springfield sign down. So it just says fee, which is apparently like an old English kind of swear word that Milhouse has to look up in the dictionary. And he's very excited about that. And we get... I think Marge is doing laundry. She just walks by, and Bart like quickly throws his blanket over the diorama, and Marge is like, I don't even care anymore, Bart. You don't have to hide things under your blankie. But Bart like, it stopped being a blankie 3 months ago. Now the guy got a laugh at how defensive he got about that, which is a thing fun. A 10-year-old boy wouldn't want his friend over here. Like,
yeah,
he still has a blankie.
Don't call it a blankie. Yeah.
Do you have any of that kind? Like, do you have any trouble getting rid of shit like that? Like, I think I had a blankie, but I was so young I don't even remember it. So
I bet somewhere folded up in somewhere in my mom's house is what was my blankie for sure, but like I'd have been rid of it long before I remember.
Yeah. The closest thing to something like this, I can remember sucking my thumb and making a decision like, hey, buddy, you're going to be in school next year. You got to cut this shit out.
Yeah. Just full self-awareness.
Yeah. There was enough kids in the trailer park I grew up in where I got to see what bullying was like at a very young age. I saw how the weak were treated.
I for sure had like a big stuffed animal that I probably dragged around for too long, but I don't think outside of that, I don't think I had any of those kid kind of bad habits.
You weren't clutching a blankie into your early teens? Like when a storm would come through?
Oh no. Trees rustling outside the window. Blankie.
Yeah, a 17-year-old you making your mom reassure you you're not going to get blown away in your sleep.
Oh, fuck.
Dragging a threadbare bear behind you.
Going up to my mom's room at 17, like I'm scared.
Just pounding on the door.
Marlon, you came upstairs to this bedroom. Like, if you're scared, don't go upstairs.
So, with Milhouse there, he's explaining all of the stuff he's going to do. And then we get a pretty quick cut to him in the bulldozer with some cables hooked to the back of the letters of the big Springfield sign. And down below, we see Mayor Quimby and some other suits about to give some kind of press conference type thing of an unveiling of the sign, which maybe unveiling's not the right word. I don't know why they're there.
It's like an anniversary, 50th anniversary or something of the Springfield sign.
Very good call. Yep. And there we get fucking because apparently Milhouse was there, but he hit his head, so he didn't remember the details. And that's when Bart just casually, yeah, I'm the one that caused all that damage. You were there. So like, of course that son of a bitch actually did all, just lied to Marge's face the whole goddamn time.
Which I suspected the whole time. I don't know about you.
Oh, totally, yep.
Because this was going to go one of two ways. Either he was actually innocent and Marge is in the wrong, or he's been lying the whole time. And I figured it was the first one.
So
the second one.
It's basically a perfect crime. How the fuck do they not hear a cat running? Like, they're 30 feet in front of this sign. No one can see any of this happening. So, but the last second, he has just a crisis of conscience. I think he even says, like, what happened? I'm growing a conscience. He just thinks about how mad or sad Marge would be about this. And he calls a quick audible. He's looking at the letters that make up the Springfield sign. Instead of keeping F-I-E, he keeps F-D. And then he knocks all the other letters down. And they're like, it's for I think it's Sideshow Mel. It's paying tribute to our local fire department.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so like, it's not really doing the right thing. The right thing would just be not to fucking knock anything down.
Not to fucking do this. Yep.
He may have killed Mayor Quimby. Like, Bart might be a murderer. Like, there were several people crushed by those letters.
Yeah.
So, Marge and Homer show up. They're worried, and then they see Bart, and Bart comes in for a hug from Marge. That's where he admits that he did it earlier, and fucking Marge wants to fucking strangle him, but he comes in too quick and she misses, and he gives her a big hug. And Homer's like, not as easy as it looks, is it? I like that. Homer's like, you see?
See, strangling's not that easy, huh?
And eventually Marge just gives in and gives Bart a big hug, and all is right in the Simpsons world. And I will say we get another one of those little end of the episode addendums. While not funny, was just kind of nice. It's Baz, the Flanders' dog, and Santa's little helper squaring off, and like all the neighborhood animals are clearing out like it's a gunfight in the Old West. Yeah. And then it just turns out that they get along fine, and they cuddle up together for a nap. And do you think Baz is going to be canon?
I thought that too. I was like, I wonder if they have a dog now.
Yeah, that'll be.
And then, like, everything that comes into their lives, I'm like, I wonder how long till it dies on the show.
No shit, yeah.
Jesus.
Man, if they take one of those boys out, they're going full Walking Dead at that point. Just devastating the Flanders' family.
What a fucking episode if Rod or Todd are killed.
Jesus. Like, it's played straight for no laughs at all. Like, one of them just gets hit by a car or something.
End of the episode, it's Ned Flanders smearing on the Joker makeup.
Yep.
Like,
ignoring the one remaining son who's pleading with him to get help.
Yep, that's his one bad day.
And
Jesus.
I'm going to go. I think I might be higher on this one than you two. I really, really like this episode too.
Some good jokes in this one, but as a whole, I was like, okay, whatever.
That's exactly what my note says. 2 in a row with more laughs than we normally get.
That, like, through carburetor at skunk, I feel like that one got a hold of me in a way that it didn't you, but that one fucking reached out and touched me like I couldn't believe. I was dying laughing.
The Gainesboro, Florida, and then the Millhouse winding the thread. Both of those got huge laughs from me. Great
Jokes in this one. But, like, I have trouble with episodes where Bart is a huge piece of shit. I have troubles liking those episodes.
Yeah, I'm usually inclined to be that way. Like, I don't like him usually, but there's just enough laughs that I was really... Because I fucking miss how funny this show used to be.
Yeah. I also like that in that montage of Bart on the skateboard and Marge on the bicycle, her chasing him through town, they do that gag where it's from the intro where he's weaving in and out of people on the sidewalk, and then it shows Marge comes following him and they go out of frame, and Mo pokes his head out of the bar and is like, okay guys, the kid rode by, so let's back to normal. Like, that's a thing they do in their day, and then all of those characters walk into Mo's.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was a fun little thing. But god damn it, through carburetor at skunk. Holy shit. And I didn't even bother trying to write it the way he wrote it, but carburetor is so fucking misspelled. Holy shit.
I mean, to be fair, carburetor, not an easy word to spell off the top of your head.
Because like that was one, for whatever reason, like my mind grabbed onto it and really unwound that thread of like, okay, so Homer's in the driveway, sees a skunk, opens the hood, gets his tools, takes off the carburetor and hucks it at this skunk. And then rather than go get it and put it back on, because he certainly couldn't have thrown it very far. Yeah. Rather than, he just left a note, went inside and got a Post-it note. And wrote it in like note language, like, you know, like truncated through carburetor at skunk.
Yeah, like
H.
Honey, we're out of cream. You know, like something like that be on the fridge. Like,
unbelievable. I was ruined by that joke.
Yeah, that was good.
Let's see if we end on a high note. Episode 19 is The Kids Are All Fight. Easily the second episodes we've used The Kids Are All Right as a jumping off point for an episode title.
Yep, you're right. I was thinking that too. I can't remember what it was, but we've definitely seen it before.
Homer is in Moe's. He's wearing an old jacket and he finds a bunch of old stuff in it, including an old roll of film. And Moe helps him out because he's like, well, where am I going to get this developed? They're like, oh, yeah, all the old little photo hunts are now deer blinds.
Yeah, that was good. Good visual gag.
Yeah. And Moe's like, oh, I can develop it for you. This room is so dark that it's technically a dark room. And he fucking turns off the neon sign and has a dark room there. And he already has some photos in the developing fluid, one of which is like pregnant Homer covering his and that's a recreation of a magazine cover.
The Demi Moore.
I think it's the Demi Moore cover. Yeah. It's like, what are we doing?
And I think they use it's Duff can double as like a photography liquid.
It's a developing fluid, yeah.
And so we again get at least a couple words from Barney, which is nice.
Yep, Barney's still there. God, I hope this is a trend of bringing back Barney. Mo develops the film and hands it to Marge. We got the whole family sitting at Mo's now. And he gives Marge the film, and she opens the pictures, and every photo is of the kids fighting. And they're from 6 years ago. So the kids were, what, 4 and 2 back then?
Yep.
And I have written right here, holy shit, been a while since we got a flashback episode.
Yep. And especially with this particular, like, when they're this age, we've had 1 or 2 of these.
Yeah. Like, I feel like flashback episodes were kind of hot and heavy in the early days.
Absolutely, yeah.
I feel like between flashback episodes and clip shows, we had a bunch. Also been a while since we had a clip show. Not to throw that into the universe.
Knock on any wood you got nearby.
Yeah, that was, boy, remember those days?
Yeah.
So it's a flashback episode. The kids are 4 and 2, and they're fighting all the time. They get thrown out of the library. And listen, I know that we've covered this before on this show, but I don't know this because I don't have siblings, because I'm an only child, because my folks got it right the first time. Nathan, why the fuck do siblings do this? This is so baffling.
You're around each other all the time.
I'm around other people all the time.
You've never been around someone like you are when you're a little kid. What is it? You're together basically from when you wake up. Spouses aren't around each other as much because they got to go to work. Little kids or siblings are from when you wake up to when oftentimes you sleep near each other even. Like there's never, and you just, every little thing they do to irritate you is amplified. And then... And your brain, you're all lizard brain instinct, so it always goes to violence first.
But that's what I'm saying. That's not a real thing. That's not a real equation. Like there's not just a line on a graph that is minutes, and once it reaches this line, then you punch somebody. That's not a real thing.
Oh yeah, there's no amount of, it's just immediate punch. Oh my God, I can feel it welling in me too. Like right now, just thinking, flashing back 30 odd years, you're just sitting there and they just do one thing and you immediately smack them and they either start crying to get you in trouble or they smack you back and then it's on.
I don't understand. I can't imagine sitting next to somebody and just being like reaching over and decking them.
Yeah. And then I think about it, it rarely came to violence immediate, like a smack, like a push. There's a lot of pushing going on. Like, get out of here. You're just breathing on me.
What?
God, I remember that. I just was like, good, why are you so goddamn close? Quit looking at me and breathing so much. You fucking... Oh, that used to drive me nuts. Thinking like, I'm just trying to read a book. Just having, like, imagine the next time you're reading, if someone just plopped down fucking thigh to thigh next to you and like put their hand on the book and like tried to turn a page. Like,
well, I mean, that's being an asshole. Like, in that case, it's that kid's fault. What's he doing that for? Go sit somewhere else. Or leave the book alone. Because
you're so fucking bored. Because there's not iPads yet.
Like,
your TV doesn't have anything good on it.
You just said that part of the problem is the proximity, but yet a kid just walks up and sits thigh to thigh to you for no reason? What the fuck?
It's because they're picking too.
Or why don't you just move then? Like,
no,
okay,
then they win. I'm in my room. If I leave my room, I gotta sleep outside. I have seated, like
win. There's no win. No one's keeping score, Nathan.
Oh, there's a score. Oh, there's a score. At least there's scores being settled.
Wow, that face I just saw. Your face morphed like when Angel goes vamp. Like, what the fuck?
What's this phrase in wrestling? Pro wrestling, receipts. You're always collecting receipts. Oh yeah, you thought that was cute, huh? Well, gonna wait for you to get on that bike, and I'm gonna fucking super kick you off it. Am I gonna catch hell? Sure, should I am. And a lot of it also happens because you're bored and you're just getting into shit, and it's dumb kid logic. It's like, it's shit that wouldn't work to begin with. It's like, climb to the top of that tree and jump off. And then they get hurt, and then they're screaming, and you're trying to get them to quit screaming, so you start suffocating them, and then they start throwing punches. And then it's a whole thing.
Jesus
Mom's
Christ.
mad. Mom's going to tell Dad. That doesn't end well for anyone.
Oh,
Yeah, it is a scene.
thank Christ there's only one of me.
Yeah.
Not a sibling. Holy shit.
And I always think my brother's 4 years apart. What's the closer the age, the more aggressive the fighting. Like, well, Lisa and Bart, 2 years apart. That's prime fighting years.
Yeah, like 4 years apart, you can't be a 6-year-old power bombing a 2-year-old through the coffee table. That's not fair.
But right when they hit 4 or 5, that's when it gets more violent.
You really can't be a 10-year-old fucking suplexing a 4-year-old.
Well, I mean, we did. We had a backyard wrestling league, so some of this was on the table. Some of this is for entertainment.
Some of this is kayfabe. Yeah.
Some of this is kayfabe. Yeah.
It's some of it's a work. It ain't all a shoot.
Yeah, the shoots got real out of hand. I remember one time trying to perfect plex my brother onto the ground, and the noise that came out of him, I had to knock the wind out of him. I thought I killed him. Jesus, because like I'm not athletic enough to do a back bridge, so I'm just falling straight back. And
he's probably not helping you, and he's not getting up for you.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah. I'm lucky none of us, there was no attempt to pile drive some, but I probably did, but it was on Mom's bed, and that's a whole other thing. She never wanted us on there.
Before the don't try this at home warnings at the beginning of every wrestling program.
Yeah. We're trying everything at home.
And at school, and at every church event. Yeah.
God, wrestling, I don't think was big enough where it was a big school thing. So you're the right age where the Attitude Era. So I bet every teenager was watching it. But that wasn't a thing. There was a very few kids into wrestling when I was like a teenager.
Everybody was when I was in high school. Like that was the de facto shit. Like after lunch, everyone just sat in the gym. All 7 through 12 just sat in the gym waiting for the bell to ring to go to their first afternoon class. And the fucking seniors would come down and be like, all right, who's getting thrown in a sharpshooter today? And just grab a kid and strap it in and crank it on it. Just fucking...
The gym was for junior high, 7th and 8th. High school kids were just left because we could leave campus, and most kids did. So it was, you just hang out in the commons area and wait for everyone to get back.
Okay. Yeah, that was... 7 to 12 all sat together, so the little fish were real little.
Oh, my God, right there.
Fucking Steven Zinker and Danny Dixon and Cole Stewart and Todd Buckmeyer would come out of the high bleachers and come down and just fucking throwing doomsday devices on 7th graders.
Collarbones snapping left and right.
got one of them in a fucking Steiner recliner trying to tear their neck off. Just oh god, wrestling hit our school pretty hard.
Yeah, doing the Tully Blanchard slingshot suplex off the stage. That ain't got no give.
Like we had a stage. Shit. So the kids are 4 and 2. They're fighting all the time, fucking decking each other with books in this library. When Bart reels back and just decks her with that book, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They're really painting each other with those books there.
No kidding. Really getting at it. They're thrown out of the library. Back at home, Bart sleeps in that insane clown bed that we haven't seen in so long.
Yeah, but that was used in another one of these episodes where he's younger, right?
Yeah, because Homer builds it for him.
That's what it is. Thank you. That was my question. My next note was that.
Yeah, like Homer builds that fucking terrifying clown bed in like an old flashback episode.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but do you ever have like a kid type bed type thing?
I can remember not like this. I didn't have a bed shaped like a race car or anything like that. but I for sure can remember my little kid bed, which was like a twin bed. Like, think of a bunk bed, but it was just the one. There wasn't a bunk on top of it.
Yeah. Like we had bunk beds that we eventually just took apart. They became our beds.
Okay.
But you never had like a bed frame with like cowboys and shit like that on it.
Yeah, you never had a rocket ship bed or anything.
No.
It's never too late. You can get yourself a fucking rocket ship bed.
It would have been one of those things that I would have thought was cool, but it wouldn't have been like hey, look what we got. It would have been, hey, this is your Christmas present. And I would have like, hey, I don't want that. If I have any say in this, I'd rather have toys, please.
You as a child just calmly volunteering that information. Yep. Hey, listen, thank you, but I don't want this.
Trying to stay positive, keep the morale. I love it. Let's keep that on the shelf for now. But listen, here's also a fun alternative to the race
your
car
enthusiasm.
Bag. Yep. Yeah. Well, hear me out here. He-Man guys.
I guarantee Castle Grayskull is cheaper than whatever you spent on this bed. Take it back. Get your store credit. Keep the rest for yourself. Keep the remainder. Treat yourself to something nice.
Have fun. Go to Bonanza. Treat yourself. You and Dad need a night out. Get me some He-Man. I wonder, I should ask my mom, I don't ever remember her, not that she bought a lot of my presents, but I don't ever remember her accidentally doubling up on a He-Man guy. So I must have been running around the house screaming and hollering with my He-Man guys in my jelly-covered hands that she knew which ones I had. No wonder parents are just worn down. So much of their hard drive is just full of a 4-year-old's nonsense.
Yep. So next time she's at a Ben Franklin in the toy aisle, she's going, I don't need to buy him a Mechanic. He has a Mechanic and a Manny Faces.
My mom hooked me up with Squeeze in my Easter basket when I was 7 or 8 years old. He was a late run.
Okay.
He had super long arms, normal body with really long arms with no joints. They were just basically like a rubber rope. The whole thing is he could wrap his arm around 10 guys. Yeah.
What a weird toy to have to make.
Yep, right. Yeah. I tell you what, when my He-Man guys turned into pro wrestlers, that dude got put on the shelf because that didn't work. I couldn't suspend kayfabe to have a wrestler with 10-foot long arms.
But finally, you had an action figure with flexibility. That was the hardest part of wrestling with action figures.
Yep, the elbows and the knees don't move.
You can't get the turtles to throw Texas clover leaves on each other. God. They don't got the flexibility.
Cyclone, though, he could fireman carry like nobody's business.
Oh, God. So the parents are trying to figure out, these kids are fighting all the time. What are we going to do? Take them to a child psychologist who doesn't help at all. And then we get young, sexy Flanders, buff, long-haired Flanders, and Maude. We get to see Maude and hear Maude's voice again. I like that they eventually came to an agreement with that voice actress to have her back on occasion. Come back
every once in a while. Yep, absolutely.
It sucks that they had to have that dispute to kill off Maude anyway, but at least they're playing nice now for flashback episodes. Ned and Maude want to take the Simpsons out for brunch, and we're going to have Grandma Flanders babysit the kids, and she is 100 years old. Yep. I thought at first that this was Crazy Cat Lady.
Yeah, that was some lazy animation.
I was like, no, we've done the origin of Crazy Cat Lady already, and she's not Flanders' grandmother, but it's not. So Grandma Flanders is going to babysit the kids. Flanders and the Simpsons, they're going to go to brunch, but the Simpsons get all frisky before we're able to go to brunch. They role play as Seagull and Trash Can.
Yeah, that was good.
And that quick shot of Homer holding those feathers, standing on the headboard, and Marge laying there wearing nothing but a trash can lid. And then he just fucking fucking does a diving splash onto the bed. Kill that poor woman.
Yep.
Back at the Flanders house, because the Flanderses are already waiting for the Simpsons at brunch. Grandma Flanders dies when I think it's Bart says, or one of them says hell in some man. They're like, oh, let's say a prayer, and and Lisa or Bart's like, we don't know any prayers, and Lisa goes, how about unless hell's bells, isn't that a prayer? Dad says that a lot. Yeah. And the old lady dies. She's so shocked by this.
100 years old, watching children.
And as if Rod and Todd weren't duds enough, young Rod and Todd, holy shit.
Oh my God. The line about them wanting to take naps, and one of them says, can we tuck ourselves in? And young Ned is like, you can't tuck yourselves in until you're 18. Now go get mommy.
Oh my God. And then turns to Homer like, I'm sorry you had to see that.
Right?
Jesus.
Like they're really acting out.
And then this scene with Grandma, they have one of those like pull the string and the circle spins. It's like the cow says moo kind of machine, except it's all Jesus. And like they pull it and the toy says whatever it says, and whichever is the older brother goes, I like how gentle you are with that toy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, the uncoolest children.
Yeah, so good.
Just, I love how gentle you are with that toy, being a compliment that you genuinely mean.
They're nice boys.
Jesus.
The nicest boys.
Duds.
Yeah.
Bart and Lisa at this point with dead Grandma Flanders, they hear an ice cream truck and they take off. Ice cream trucks still just a thing on television. Mm-hmm. Not real. I don't buy it. And then they're just out on the town in a big wheels, and Bart's on a big wheel and Lisa's in a pedal car, and they're just out. Trying to find this ice cream truck. They run into the bullies. We see like young versions of the three delinquents. And I was like, you and I had different reactions, because I was like, is this what we're going to fucking do? Are we just going to see the kid versions of all these guys? Lisa comes pedaling up crying like, please don't hurt my brother. And they finally take off, and she stops crying, and Bart's confused. She's like, you pretend to cry, and you get what you want. I like that she knows this at 2.
Yeah. And he has a line that's like, with your smarts and my Barts, we can do anything.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
She goes, what do you mean? What are your Barts? He goes, you're so smart, you figure it out.
Yeah.
That, I think, is a prime example of you should have just done the first part of the joke. Because I don't think the second part of the joke is that funny. Like, your smarts and my parts is plenty, guys. Yeah. So the kids end up at the old folks' home. They're just pedaling around. Now they're like lost. They're lost in this in town, and the folks are looking for them frantically, trying to find them. And they end up at the old folks' home, and they hang out with Grandpa for a little bit. He's like, I'll ring the nurse's station and let them know that they should call your parents. And he hits the nurse's button, and it just smash cuts to this bored nurse at the desk reading the paper while every light behind her is going off.
Yeah.
Jesus. So the kids leave eventually, and they find themselves at the top of a big hill, and they go flying down the hill. Bart pushes Lisa. She's scared to ride down the hill, and he kicks the back of her car and sends her flying. And then Bart takes off after her and, like, in action movie style, pulls her from her pedal car, which crashes into a tree and explodes.
Yep. I got a kick out of that.
That's fun. That's classic. That's a good joke. So he saved her, so now they're even after she had saved him from the bullies. They're kind of not fighting a bunch. They're sort of getting along at this point.
Yep.
Marge and Homer still out looking for him. They're all disheartened because they can't find him. They sit down on a park bench for just a moment, and there they are on top of the fucking tire fire.
Yeah. How does that happen, one asks.
Yeah, how did you get up there? And the answer is like, don't you know kids climb everything? It's like, okay, not going to write a joke here or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. That's some real, like, oh, they're just there. Shrug your shoulders, like.
And then in what I think has become a fucking troubling just race to the end of the episode over these last however many episodes, Marge is like, Homer, don't you know that parents do like a feat of strength when their child is in danger? So he grabs a nearby tree and pulls it over, and the kids grab onto the top of it. But then he like just lets it go, and it flings them off into the distance like fucking Looney Tunes. And of course, they crash through their bedroom window, and now they're home.
Now they're in the scary clown bed.
Yep. I'm not a fan. Like, I like seeing young Ned. That was kind of fun. The Rod and Todd shit, I think, is super fun. I think I like most of when we cut back to present day of them telling the story, like Maggie climbing on the wine glasses like they're a jungle gym, and then Mo just catches her in a fucking beer mug.
We get a lot of good Maggie Little, just her doing things. Like, if you pay attention to Maggie, like random things. Like in one episode, someone says something bad about Homer to Marge, and Marge gets upset, and Maggie's brow furrows. I get a kick out of little details like that. Like,
yeah, like little, like we're doing fun stuff with Maggie these days. Just quick little jokes.
Yeah. I wonder if part of that is just like animation makes it easier. Maybe it was more labor intensive back, 30 years ago.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's easier to animate her these days.
Like, before, it's like we could only have so many unique movements in each fucking, tenth of a second. So Maggie has to stay stationary a lot. Like
there's that fun joke in the episode with Bart and Marge being at odds, the last episode where he had the bulldozer, when he sneaks out of the house and then so does Marge to follow him. Maggie also sneaks out dressed like a ninja for no reason and then puts on a pacifier silencer, like a gun good. Silencer onto her binky, and then when she makes the suck, it doesn't make any noise. Like, just little stuff like that. We're doing kind of fun stuff with Maggie. She's like playing pool in this episode at Moe's.
Yep. I thought that was good. Yeah.
But as a whole, I didn't care for the flashback episode very much. But the rest of this batch, I thought was pretty good.
Yep. I thought it was totally fine. I'm trying to think of anything else out of the
carburetor at Skunk is still fucking primo.
Yeah, the third and fourth were for me heads and tails better than the rest of them, but there was none that were like, I'm mad this is so bad. We've had a couple of them lately. Hell, you had a batch of them last time where you were like not impressed at all.
Boy, last week was a tough one. I was bummed out last week.
Yeah. Which is not an adjective you want when you're watching a sitcom.
Right. Bummed
sad.
Out. How did you feel watching this show? Distraught.
Bereft. As if I've lost someone close to me.
Yeah, but this batch much better for sure.
Yeah, good laughs. Stories, meh, but the laughs were good.
Stories were fine. The laughs were I thought the laughs were very good. Fucking nobody's ever been killed by a t-shirt cannon is super funny.
That's nuts. Yeah. It looks like next batch of episodes we're gonna burst through the sweet walls of season 27.
Hell yeah, we are. Next week, we are doing episodes 20 to 22 of season 26 and episodes 1 and 2 of season 27. I feel like 26 fucking went flying by.
This will be everyone's last chance to hear us sing disco songs.
Yeah, you get one more next week, you lucky dogs.
What could we have sang? Who knows what we could have sang?
How fortunate are you that you get to hear us sing another disco song?
Lucky ducks.
Don't act like you haven't been loving it.
Yeah. The highs, the lows.
Lie to us.
We've really had to work the higher register on some of these.
Whoo boy.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Dusting off those falsettos. Really Gotta go high on the bag stem when you're singing those.
Oh man, I gotta write down Dustin Falsettos as a great fake name for someone. I gotta work that character into something.
If you're ever at a hotel that takes cash, that's the name you give them.
Dustin Falsettos. Yeah, that's for sure my new fake hotel name. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, so we will do more Simpsons next week. How about you? You living life? You out there? You doing the thing in the streets?
I'm existing. I'm surviving.
You're in fucking bed right now.
Laying here like waiting for the tuberculosis doctor to come by and
fucking hospice.
Pour some syrup down my throat.
You look like you're
wipe my chin.
You look like you're about to Doc Holiday at it. Just look at your bare feet and be like, "I'll be damned," and then just pass away.
Yeah. I don't remember buying that toe ring.
Oh man, I would support you getting deep into a toe ring. Like
nails brightly painted.
Oh shit. I'll paint my toenails every so often. I ain't above it, just for funsies. But a toe ring is a bridge too far for me.
I mean, you got a lot of life ahead of you. Who knows?
Especially a big toe. My big toe's shaped like a goddamn hot air balloon. Like where the
there's no waist.
Jesus, like where the ring would have to sit is like a size 3, but the toe that it's got to go by is a size 37.
Maybe just peel the sticker off a banana and put that on your big toe knuckle. Dress it up a little.
Like I could carve off meat from my big toe the way they carve a ham in a fancy Spanish window.
Yeah, like fogo de chao or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Fresh shaved marlin. Toes. I don't want to say those words again. That's cool. It's about cannibalism.
No, it's fine. No, it's not gross. It's about cannibalism.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, shit. I'm going to be at the Portland, Maine Comedy Festival this week. You're hearing this, let me see, on the 23rd, and I will be there the 25th through the 28th.
Well, look at you go.
Drive to goddamn Portland, Maine. Like, we're recording this ahead of time, obviously, but by this point, if you're listening to this on Tuesday, I am on the road, headed to South Bend, Indiana. So, any of our South Bend listeners want to buy me a drink, I'll be there tonight. Not doing comedy or anything, but I'll be there, staying under my new fake hotel name, Dustin Falsettos.
God, I hope that is able to happen once during that trip because you're going to be so jazzed. Just like, you don't need my driver's license? No, just fill it in. Well,
I'll be staying in a lot of hotels. Should I find some seedy ones?
Yeah, especially in that Gary, South Bend part of Illinois, Indiana. That'd be a good place to find.
I don't know anything about that region. Is that a tough region? Like,
I mean, Gary, Indiana might be the toughest region in America.
Oh, no kidding?
But by South Bend, that's a college town. It's got to be all spruced up.
All right. If I get murdered, I'm blaming you.
Yeah.
I feel confident I won't be murdered in Portland, Maine. That doesn't seem like
it's the way there.
I bet their crime stats are perfectly fine.
I mean, if you're on the interstate, everything's safe, but yeah, I wouldn't stretch my legs in Gary. I wouldn't play Pokemon Go in Gary.
Pull off and see if there's any roadside statues to take photos with.
Yeah. Telling a man who's clearly selling drugs to move because you're setting a gym up.
Excuse me, just looking to get a little pump on. I got like 5-pound dumbbells that I'm curling.
I meant a Pokemon gym. You have your Pokemons fight someone else.
I forgot Pokemons have gyms. I don't play. I've never been a Pokemon player. But yes, if you're in or around Portland, Maine, I'll be there the 25th through the 28th. Like, the days I perform and where and when are going to be pretty sporadic, but I assume they have some manner of schedule. So go find that, I guess. It's going to be a blast.
A good time telling jokes in Atlantic time or Eastern time or whatever they call it.
I'm going to fuck up so much lobster.
Oh, man. Full of shellfish.
Oh, I'm going to come back like 40% sea bug.
Yeah. Sea bugs and mercury.
So come on out for that if you're in the area. It's going to be a fun time.
Have a good week, everybody.